Hi, I'm Jillian Buck, and I'm a firm believer in Jesus Christ, and I'm here today to give my testimony. When I was 16, I accepted Jesus Christ into my life. Shortly after that, at the age of 16, I encountered a very rare medical condition, and it has still in my life today, it's still there. And it has been a very difficult 23 years of that. At the age of 21, when I married my husband, I was ecstatic. Things were very good in the beginning. And at the age of 24, I gave birth to our first child, Gabriella. And after she was born, she suffered some medical issues where she was hospitalized for a while. And my husband and I were very scared. We were scared that we were going to lose her, and it was very fearful. But shortly after, she had came home, symptoms of my medical condition started to come back. And I was starting to suffer very, very greatly. And I started to have a lot of pain. And it was a very difficult time for me. After a while, my marriage started to really struggle at that point. But also in that time frame, I was very distant from God. I stopped praying. I attended church, but physically it was here, but mentally it was not. My hopes that my marriage would be better, it did not happen. There were many nights that I cried, and many days that I just tried to talk myself out of this and try to want to get better, and I just couldn't. And in April of 2018, I was driving my car and I came across this radio station called K-Love, and I'm just listening to these words of this music. I just started crying, and I just said, I can't seem to turn off this radio station and listen to these people that God has came into their lives and has changed so many things. And I knew about Celebrate Recovery at our church, and I often wanted to go, but felt like I never had the time to do that. And one Thursday I decided I'm gonna go. And they were so heartwarming, and they were there for me, and they were listening to me. And I just had this major breakthrough that I said, yes, I want God back in my life. I want to pray again. I want to believe that, He's there for me and that I'm a child of God. And yes, I want this to happen. And shortly after time, I discovered that my husband was having an affair. And my whole world spiraled out of control. My worst fear was happening. And I had to have some time with God and say, why is this happening? Like, I'm doing everything you're telling me to do to save my marriage. And I'm now in this hole again, and I don't know where to go from here. And he just basically told me to stay still. Just cast it to God, and He's going to be in control. I am not in control of this. He is going to be in control of this. And I often thought that you had to get baptized when, your life was perfect and everything was perfect. But I know that's not the case. And whatever happens, I know that I'm so glad that God has came back into my life. And I just wanted to share a verse with you. It's Deuteronomy 31:6 that says, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them. For the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you." And I chose this verse because I don't want to live in fear, and I don't want to be afraid of whatever the outcome is. And I also feel that you need to just cast, and I need to cast everything to God and leave it in his hands because he's in control. And I want to thank you for letting me share my testimony today.